Good evening, Battle Creek, and welcome to another session of Women's Co-op's Our View. Joining us today is, of course, the lovely Valerie Whitney, our program coordinator, and Teresa Durham from Kellogg Community College. We've done some shows in the past talking about the unmet needs and the true expense of poverty, what families in poverty struggle with that most of us take for granted, right? Like clean laundry, a place to take a shower, the most common things of a safe place to lay your head at night, but there are food insecurities, there are all kinds of needs around it. And one of the things that Valerie and I have noticed across the community is this growing acceptance of that, in the sense that service providers that you wouldn't expect to be in that business are now making things available. For example, Charitable Union makes feminine napkin products available. There are places that make diapers available. And we noted that the college recently made some changes around that. Teresa, can you tell us about it?
Certainly. To piggyback on the Charitable Unions project, Kellogg Community College made a commitment to put in hands-free and free period product dispensers in all of its women and gender neutral restrooms, not only on its main campus, but at all of its centers. And that came about because of an awareness around the work that we've been doing around food insecurity, in which we have free healthy snack food baskets that are located at all around main campus, at the RMTC, Grell Center, and the Eastern Academic Center. And a donor calling and asking, how are we addressing feminine hygiene or period products? And so after doing some research with our own faculty and staff, we then embarked on this journey to work with our college's IPS council and our facilities, and partnering with Charitable Union to not only learn more about the situation, but then to act on it and then install all of those. And we're in the process of doing that. Most of them are already installed on the main campus. With supply chain issues, we just had a slight back order on some of our units for our centers, but those should be coming on board this month.
Well, we were really pleased to hear that because we run a women's organization, right?
Right.
We do that, right?
Yes, we do.
We do.
Yes,
we do that.
Yes, you do.
And this is one of the things, and you know, as a woman myself, that would be horrible to struggle with having that need and not being able to provide it.
Right.
And you know, a lot of us take that for granted. You just go to the store and you buy it, right? Like the worst thing that could happen is you don't have any on hand when the moment comes and you run out to get it, right?
Or you have to use a substitute product.
Right.
And that is something that we certainly don't want to have happen. And at KCC, we recognized and we heard the stories of students either not coming to class, not coming for a full week or two because they were dealing with their period and could not afford the product, had no accessibility to products, or using a substitute, and or just not able to come to college. And the college recognized that we can't have that happen. We need to support our students in every way, and this is one way to do that. So we don't want that to be a barrier for them to be successful in their goals and complete college. So we're thrilled that we were able to install and then partner with Charitable Union to get the word out that we're listening and we're acting on it.
We really appreciate it. KCC, we appreciate it. And I think that it's deeper than that, because as we had this discussion, we started to talk about how over the last half a decade or so, KCC has really gone much deeper into making sure that students can focus on the academic piece. Like you think of a college, right? You think of the community college. And to me, their job is to educate these young adults or adults and get them ready to go out in the world and work, right? Mm-hmm. But the fact that KCC is taking this deeper dive into what does that mean for each individual, and what does it mean for people who are struggling in poverty? Because they're doing this so they can get out of poverty, but the struggle is great just to even be able to come to class and focus. You mentioned that you have snack baskets. Because just because you have a cafeteria where people can purchase doesn't mean that all your students can.
Absolutely.
How is that being perceived by your students, like the free snack baskets? And
Oh, terrific. While we've not done a real formal study, we did a very informal one the first year after we implemented the project. What we heard from students was, this is really great. I come to class, I work during the day, I have a night class, I don't have time to get any food. I barely can squeak by in all the needs that I have. This is really saving me. And that's what we were hearing across the board. Certainly, even after the first year, just getting awareness out, we knew that we had to be more effective with that with our students. But now we are in our third year with our healthy snack food basket sites. More and more students know that they exist because we do have them in multiple areas of our campus where most of our students frequent. So there's one in the Miller Gym building. There's one in our Whitmore lobby, which is a main thoroughfare for many of our students. One in our Emory Morris library, where many students study. One in the Davidson building. And then, again, the RMTC, our Eastern Academic Center, and in Albion, in our Grawl Center in Coldwater. And then hopefully we'll be able to install one at our Faisenfeld Center in Hastings over this next year.
Nice. You know what else I really like about it, you guys? You didn't single anybody out.
No.
You just set the baskets out and said, whoever wants them, can have some.
Absolutely. They
I
are
think
not
that a lot of
monitored.
times
Yep.
in service programming, we have the best of intentions, guys, but we make the mistake of singling that person out.
Yes.
You are the ones who need the, you're poor, so you need this.
Yeah.
Instead of just saying, here it is for everyone, and even if you're not, just have a snack.
There's no intake, it's not monitored.
Right.
We have student workers who are on campus who fill the baskets on a weekly basis. And so for us it's no judgment zone. It's, it's like one of those take one, give one type of concept where everyone is involved in lifting each other up. So, and by that design, it's worked out very well. And we're very committed to the project. We have partners and companies and individuals in the community who support it. It's really great. And certainly we're not the only college that has done this. We actually modeled it, called our colleagues around the state who do have either basket programs or full pantry programs. And they were instrumental in helping us to bring ours about. But thus it's called the Bruin Basket, named after, of course, our moniker, if you will, our mascot, the Bruin. And it's just been a real blessing for our students and even employees. And oftentimes we do have community that come through campus. We're a community college, we're open and accessible, but that's fine. We've said, no monitoring, take what you really need, because that's most important to us is, how you are being fed and how you perform in the classroom. Because we know if you're going into a classroom empty stomach, it's very, very difficult to stay in focus and be successful in the classroom.
And on a deeper level than that, let's talk about the IAC programs, because we're in partnership with KCC in a consortium that includes Goodwill Industries of South Central Michigan, Michigan Works of, I think I messed that up, Goodwill Industries
of South Central Michigan.
And Michigan Works of South Central Michigan, too?
Southwest.
Southwest. Okay, thanks, ladies. Anyway, this partnership, and it's by no accident that we were brought together. The consortium is designed that there is no wrong way to enter getting a career path or getting a job that can sustain a family and pay a livable wage. But there are supports literally built into every piece of this, because all partners recognize that it is wrong to think that if you just give someone an opportunity to go to school or an opportunity to get a job or get trained, well then, job done, right? But it's not, because you have a lot of things along the way that have to be balanced and looked at too, and oftentimes they don't always tell you about it, right?
Correct.
Like food baskets didn't start because people said they were hungry. You figured it out. So why would the college engage in this type of work?
That's a wonderful question. So first and foremost, IAC stands for Innovative Accelerated Credentialed Training. And this all happened roughly around the 2014 time period when a consortium of community college received a Department of Labor grant, pretty significant one, to be able to bring in new or additional equipment to their skilled trades area. And along that way, KCC then saw a way to be able to create what we would call more short-term training programs versus perhaps a certificate program that could take a full semester or year, if you will, and in a 2-year program that ultimately will take much longer. We wanted to put together a program where we could get people right away, right off the ground, credentialed, which means that they could walk out of a training program with credentials that could lead them to employment right away. So recognizing that need, we created this model, and within that model, it includes what we call an intrusive coaching kind of operational way in which we wrap around our services for the students. Again, as you said, recognizing that it's just not about coming in and receiving training or an education, it's about addressing some of those life challenges or barriers to success. And so that intrusive coaching model is not just the only answer, but a really significant part of the program itself, because when students come into a training program, they receive that support that comes alongside them, helps to empower them, helps to connect them to community resources, and to make sure that that student, in a sense, crosses the line. And as Dr. Dennis Baskin, who's our dean, says, we love them to the finish line all the way. And that's really what this is about. And so we started with what we call our CAMA program, which is our Kellogg Advanced Manufacturing Assembly, trying to fill a need for the employers in our community to get individuals trained in about a 5-week program. And it is kind of a full-time program, learning foundational skills as well as the more technical skills, so that right away they can be placed into employment. And then hopefully,
which is a small step, big win, right?
Absolutely.
Which is something Val likes. But none of them stop there.
No, they
like
don't.
SENA is a small win there.
Correct.
I can get my certificate, I can go work in the field, but then I can go on and get my nursing certificate.
Absolutely.
And all of the IAC programs are set up that there is something bigger at the college I can continue.
It's just an entry to help individuals who may not have that comfort level yet of going to college to enter into that space, provided the supports, work side by side, kind of build that strength for them and that confidence, and again, get that win so that they can come back and continue their education, whether it is in manufacturing, healthcare, or now we're going to be adding on, which is in partnership with you all, the Microsoft Certification Administrative Assistant, and then we're also going to be adding on a retail kind of management type of pathway as well. So we keep finding these programs.
Even that, the college targeted. The reason why those are in our space is not because you love us, even though you do.
Yes, we do.
So does Dr. Baskin. But the reason why it's in that space is not because, let's make this convenient for the Women's Co-op and throw something over there. This is because you're going to where the participants are in their neighborhood, saying, then come here and take these classes. Get comfortable in a space that you're already comfortable in. We'll get you thinking this way towards college, and then you can build off of this as well.
Yeah, very intentional. So it's taking our mission of providing accessible, high-quality education and taking it out. Not just expecting individuals are going to come up to our campus sites or our centers, but truly taking it out to the people so that we can be that welcoming institution, we can be that bridge, and we can provide that support to students and get them where they're at. Because, again, we just can't take for granted that everyone is going to come to college, at a certain academic level or a certain readiness. We need to get them where they are and help them along, empower them, if you will, to be able to find that readiness and to be successful. And that's the beauty of it. We started this even before IACT with our transitional educational programs. So trying to fill a niche where students, while they might graduate from high school or receive a GED, still were struggling when they came to college in order to be able to fulfill even some of those entry-level classes. So we provide that level of support as well so that students can then be college-ready. We're not just turning them away, we're providing them, again, that accessibility.
Yeah, you're not saying, okay, you come in, you can have this opportunity, sign all these forms. Oh, I'm sorry, you failed by.
Yes.
Come back again when you can maybe get your life together.
No,
I think
we don't take
that,
that route.
you know, we had a program 3 or 4 shows ago, and we talked about food. And we really gave Grace Health an A++. For their programming around trying to get healthy food out, because it just makes sense to me that if you are a facility who serves families' health,
Yeah.
it just makes sense that you would encourage healthy food.
Yeah.
And not only are they encouraging it, they're distributing it. And we thought that they did a really nice job at doing that. And as we had this discussion this week amongst our team and committees, we really think that the college is doing a fabulous job at making it accessible for everybody and doing the thing that Dr. Baskin said, which is loving them over the finish line. You know,
Absolutely.
it's one thing to put a snack basket out and make sure that I'm not hungry in class, but then once a month you're distributing food to families.
Yes.
That doesn't really have anything to do with being in class. It just has to do with, we recognize that you're struggling here and the college wants to do what it can to make this time easier for you, to lift some of those burdens, to lift some of that stress. You have not talked today,
Not a word.
but you look very interested.
Very interesting.
Is it because me and Teresa talk a lot when we get together?
I think maybe.
Okay. Do you want to weigh in on
So
any of this?
the thing that I really, truly admire is the fact that after they finish one of these IAC programs, that there's the component at the end is there's a job interview that they do. They bring the employers right to that particular end of that class celebration. But then beyond that, they can take advantage of what's called the next step.
Yes.
And that to me is, okay, now you've gone this far. Hey, you know, look what is next on the horizon. Look what, just by stepping back into that role as a college student, you could be doing next. And the supportive services continue in through the next steps along with that transition. So I think
Including
What is that next step,
scholarships.
Teresa? Talk a little
Oh,
more about that
sure.
for people and viewers who
So,
might not know.
with the support of the W.K. Kellogg Foundation, when we were beginning the second, if you will, segment of our grant programming with them, we developed what's called IACT Next Steps, which means that if a student completes the IACT training, whether in any of our pathways, whether it's the CAMA, the CENA program, again, coming up the retail management or the Microsoft certification, coming back to KCC could mean, again, them still receiving the intrusive coaching. We also have built in scholarships for students, but then they come back in and come literally to KCC to continue on, so they could continue to receive a certificate or even go to receive a 2-year associate degree. So next steps just means you made it over the finish line with IACT, come back in, and then let's help you to get to the finish line of your next goal. So it's kind of a ladder process, if you will. So take it one step at a time, find those wins one step at a time to the ultimate goal of a 2-year. You don't have to complete the 2-year. It depends on the person's individual goals, along with the supports that they receive from employment and their
course.
family.
Right.
But that is truly what I
And their time, because it's not
Yeah.
easy to be a full-time student or even a
No.
part-time student and hold down a job and be the single mother of 3.
Right.
What happens
So it's
all-
everybody's situation.
Absolutely, and also what happens then at that point is the federal financial aid and other financial aid opportunities for students. So again, when we have right now about 32 to 35% of our students Pell Grant that they've received, many more perhaps eligible. Almost 96% of our students are on some type of financial aid, knowing that there is opportunities to come in and get an education and utilize some of those supports, such as Michigan Reconnect scholarships through the state of Michigan, Pell Grant, KCC Foundation scholarships, and other scholarships, such as the one through IAC Next Steps. Students, we can eliminate that barrier, that financial barrier, to get students to where they want to be within their educational goal.
And you're changing things generationally, because if mama goes to school
Yeah.
and mama gets a college degree, mama will not only appreciate babies getting it, but babies appreciate it too.
Absolutely.
So it's a generational change.
Yes.
And we're filling big gaps in our community that can keep employers here when they can get the kind of talent bank that they need.
Yeah.
We think you're doing a fabulous job.
Yeah. We do believe that it's not always going to be pathways for students to do general ed degrees or certain pathways. So we have to be able to provide other training, types of training that provides that, again, opportunities, open those doors for individuals, and again, getting them where they're at. So again, we have a number of students that come in, take their 2 years, transfer on to a 4-year college or university. Not everyone is going to do that. So, but we want to provide the opportunities for them to receive credentials or certificates or a 2-year degree so that they can find their career, sustain their families, really thrive and prosper, in their own communities and for their families. So
Sure.
it's huge, and I'm glad that we find partners like Women's Co-op and the partners in the consortium, but the community believes in that as well. And we're now doing it together, and we're collaborating, and we're talking to one another. We're getting to learn about the people who we serve even better through your eyes and through everyone else's eyes and their own experiences. And that's the beauty of it.
And to that next question, how is it, and this is for other systems that are out there that want to be more intentional about their service deliveries, how is it that KCC is so wonderful at, you have a large staff, you have professors that come in from the outside, how is it that KCC has been so successful at creating this environment for that to thrive? Where most of your staff believes that too, and we know because we have a population who attends the college, and we also deal with the college quite often,
Yeah.
and you can tell that there is this environment across the college that mirrors what you're talking about today. So how does that happen?
It's vision, leadership, the values that we have around equity, diversity, and inclusion, embracing those, and then moving it forward. But I truly believe it is that vision, it's seeing it in action, and when our staff absolutely sees it in action, they go to celebrations, whether it's a women's co-op graduation or it's our individuals who finish an IACT program and they come to that. You see it and you believe it and you listen to the stories. So I also think the college has been listening and will continue to listen to understand and then move that forward. I believe that our college is continuing to learn, is committed to that, and wanting to make sure that they are ever present in this community, and again, open, making sure our doors are open to all in our community. And again, I think it really comes from vision, compassion, commitment, and overall leadership at the college.
So we attended a CAMA graduation probably about a year ago, maybe a little longer than that. And it just was so heartwarming for me that the instructors of those individuals were there, but they came to us and said, this individual has this barrier. If you can help us remove this barrier, they will be even more successful in the career path they've chosen. So they took the time to actually talk with those folks. It's not like they're just standing up there giving a lecture and walking away. They actually know the student, they know the barriers, they have a path for those students. And the fact that we got to be involved in that was just, I thought was great and successful for those folks as well. So I think that wraparound service is so important. And it's not hand-holding. I don't want anyone to think that it's not hand-holding. It's more of, I'm concerned and I'm eager for you to be a success. So this is how we can make that pathways happen. So
It's
I
a
think that's
coaching
great.
model.
Yeah.
And in the coaching model, we all know is that you walk beside an individual, you problem solve together, and again, it's about empowering individuals too.
Doing with, not to.
Correct. Very good, Val.
Tracy, you've been doing this work like a really long time, and I know this to be true because even though you've worked other places, I've known you since I started doing this work 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Why is serving families in poverty so important to you?
That is a terrific question, and thank you for it. It's quite deep as well.
It is.
I think it's just always been a part of my DNA. It's who I am. I have taken so seriously love of neighbor. I truly do. And KCC has been my career home for over 20 years, and even though I've been in different positions and worked in different capacities, it's about the students and the success of students that really gets me up in the morning, gets me to the college. It's seeing that, it's realizing that, but also working with community partners. It's an honor to be able to do this and to do it, again, with an open heart and a learning heart, because I've certainly learned along the way. I don't take it for granted, everything around white privilege and understanding power and all. And so being able to be part of that environment has just been an absolute joy, but also challenge, but also very rewarding, because it's about seeing the success of others that I love doing.
I agree.
Love being a part of. Just like you all. I've learned so much from the two of you for all the years that I've known you. I'm amazed at Women's Co-op, always am, with the trajectory that you've been on and your perseverance, but also innovation, and again, willing to step out, and do the work that needs to be done in order for us to have a successful community, successful neighborhoods, and just enrich the lives of people around us.
I think it really does come down to what Dr. Baskin said and what you just said a minute ago, though. It's loving your neighbor. You have to care. Like, if we live in a community, this part of the community is really nice, and that's where I strive to be. And this is just where I might shop or go or something, is not the mentality that we need. Like, we are all a community.
Yeah.
And you can choose your neighborhood to live in, but folks, we have to care about all of our residents everywhere. And we have to make things accessible for them, and we have to give them opportunities. And it has to be judgment-free. I mean, I think that one of the things for me that I learned the most over the film that we did on poverty, which if you go to YouTube or our YouTube channel on our website, that is there, and you can see it along with all of the other tapings that we've done of Our View. The thing that I take away from it the most is that people really want to tell their story of poverty, and that it really isn't a condition that's self-induced. Like, it really just isn't. There are a whole lot of things that play into it, and the thing that's at the heart of all of that is the community. So having awesome organizations like KCC who understand the importance of putting these pieces together, even though education is what you do, to be successful at that, these pieces have to be put together. So we want to say on behalf of Women's Co-op, KCC gets an A++++.
Thank you. I was
doing
going to
a really
ask. Do we get
fabulous
the
job.
I was hoping that we would have that grade.
We'll send your report card out later.
Get you that little certificate. So thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you for joining us in this work. Thank you for joining us, Battle Creek. We'll see you next time when we'll be discussing, I don't know, but I know that it will be something about poverty and families in poverty and their perspective from that place. Thank you so much for joining us. See you next time.